This is not an end.
A brand new show.
But a beginning.
With the same faces you know.
This is the moment when the dawn breaks.
Starting from scratch.
And the curtain goes up.
We're here
This is the dawn of a new era.
to ramble. Welcome to a new era of podcasting. This is Ramblers Unleashed.
It is Ramblers Unleashed. Back at it again. This time, the fallout of freaking WrestleMania. And what a WrestleMania it was. 2 nights of it, matter of fact.
Ooh.
2. It was really weird to watch an absolutely empty, not even an arena. It was at the Performance Center both nights, and it was just kind of surreal. But we're going to get into that all tonight here on Ramblers Unleashed. Welcome to it. I'm Dizzy alongside the Baron, and joining us a little bit later on is Max Magus. He'll be. He said he had to move to his bedroom, and I don't know what that means, but
Max lives in a what did he tell us? Was it a 14,000, 15,000 square foot mansion?
Something like that. Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. I think he used the word marvelous too.
Marvelous,
so,
yeah. Well, being Max, he is marvelous.
Being Max, he is certainly marvelous, yeah. Baron, how the hell are you, man?
Doing good, man. I'm 2 days of wrestling, surviving this pandemic, it's going good, man. I mean,
yeah.
Just not just wrestling in general, but just life in general just feels extremely weird. So I'm a little off on everything that I'm doing, It's good to see that your governor just released or issued a stay-at-home order. So that is extremely
good. That's really good. Yeah.
When was that? Was that Friday or
that was,
Thursday?
I believe, Thursday or Friday.
Thursday, yeah.
One. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really good. I'm glad he came to his senses. I mean, there's no reason why we should have to deal with like a chance of getting sick or dying or whatever.
There's no reason for it.
No reason for it. Yeah.
No, there's no reason to risk anything, And our governor was on TV today, and he was asked, have you talked to any of the other governors that haven't issued these stay-at-home orders yet? And he said, I've only talked to one, and I really didn't talk much about it because I think he's just worried about Illinois, because we're getting a lot of freaking cases, man.
Yeah, they're ramping up fast, just
quick as shit, and it's scary.
Yeah,
it really is. It's worrisome, and I know that since we're on YouTube and all this, and people kind of look at us to be kind of an information destination, I just want to remind you, please stay inside. Don't go out. Don't venture about and talk to and go meet up with your homies. This is not a time to do that. Wash your hands for at least 20 seconds. If you feel sick, stay home. Quarantine yourself. Please quarantine yourself. Don't risk it. Don't. Why would you want to risk it?
Yeah, it's not worth it.
No, it's not.
Everybody get safe. Be safe. Stay at home. If you got to go out to get your essential stuff, do it. Just take care of your family. That's all we got to do.
Yeah, and it kind of makes me wonder, where are we going with this? Like with wrestling or with concerts or with anything, where is this all going to fall out? Are we ever going to get back to where we were? Is it ever going to?
The scariest thing in anybody's life is not knowing what's happening around you, or what to expect. You know what I'm saying? Most people in life, plan out their life accordingly, think ahead to things. And when you can't predict the future on something, that's scary, man. That's super scary.
Oh, it's stupid. Yeah.
So, and then everything around you changes, and that's even worse. So it's, very scary times right now.
It is. And, thank God we have entertainment and we have what we have, and going into wrestling or trying to get back into professional wrestling, it was hard for me because I stepped away from it for so long after we stopped doing rambling about wrestling. I just stepped away. I said, I'm burned out of the product. I'm just done. It's the same crap. Every time I watch this, it's just the same thing. And I'm just now trying to get my feet wet with wrestling, but it's just hard for me to get back into the swing of things, especially when you have a product like you have with WWE. Let's bring in Max Magus. I'm gonna
There
actually
he
change the view
is.
here because I don't like that view. What's going on, Max?
Not much. Sorry I was
Max
late. We
is
were
better
doing a
than-
watch party.
There he
you were doing a watch party?
Yeah, we had a watch party going on, so I had to finish that call. That's what took me so long to move back into the bedroom.
Gotcha. Where did you didn't have people in your house, did you?
Just the people in the house. We were doing a Skype watch party so
Okay.
that everybody could watch from their own home.
Well, that's good. I mean, at least you're taking it seriously. This is something not to be messed with. This is something to take very, very seriously. Baron and I were just talking about it, and we're encouraging people to stay indoors. If you are feeling ill at all, stay inside. Don't go and social. This is not a time to go out and socialize with your buddies.
Right. No, it's also not time to go out and have dinner with your in-laws, that sort of thing. Stay home as much as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. Watch TV. We've been watching a shit ton of TV, and it's kind of like, okay, we get up, we take a shower, we eat breakfast, and then we just sit down and we watch TV. Later on, we'll take a walk, and then we come back and we watch more TV. And we're gonna get burned out soon, but think outside the box.
Well, HBO just.
I wish it was that easy for me.
No.
HBO what?
HBO just released 500 hours worth of content.
Ooh,
500 hours, supposedly. I have yet to really dive into it, but I mean, there's a lot of stuff to still watch.
Yeah, I mean, I know Sling TV, that's a part of Dish. They were doing free. They had like a free thing going on where you could watch Sling TV for free and keep up on the news and stuff like that. But there's a lot of things out there that people can do, and I know that Cards Against Humanity, you can go play online with your friends, so that's something.
Yeah,
that's something cool. Maybe we should do that one night on stream. I don't know.
Oh, that'd be fun.
I honestly, I wish it was as simple for me as it is for you guys. Don't get me wrong. It sucks that you guys are out of work, and I feel bad for you. Unfortunately, I am considered essential personnel. So Monday through Friday, I am at work.
Right.
Well, we appreciate it.
We appreciate you, man. And all the essential employees out there, especially all the nurses and doctors that are really in the front line of this, man. Thank you so much for what you do. It's certainly you're not going unnoticed. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
Somebody made a really good point about that today. The doctors and the nurses, all the medical professionals, the food workers that make sure everyone's during the day, the janitors, they're all getting this credit. But you know who's not getting credit right now? The IT professionals that are keeping your systems up and running. Make sure you thank an internet technician
There you go. I seriously thank an internet technician that we had a pretty big outage in Illinois, in the more central states, so around like Springfield, Illinois, and further north. But somebody hit a fiber optic line, and they were out of internet for a few, if not a few, like a day or two, maybe. But they got it fixed really quick. So shout out to them. But still, man, that would suck if you didn't have internet. We couldn't do this show without the freaking internet. you couldn't watch without the internet. You know, I would go insane. I'd probably drive my wife nuts, crazier than I already have.
Is that possible?
Yeah, that's
Dizzy,
true.
is that possible?
That's well, that's probably.
Well, you
When
know, the other
there's
thing-
a will, there's a way, right?
Yeah, exactly. The other thing with it though is like, isn't it kind of like, you think about it, scary with all the people that are unemployed right now that are working from home, so their main source is, you know, to watch something on Netflix, Hulu, whatever internet based. So with all these people, can you imagine just like an outage just from the amount of people that are watching stuff right now? Just like a complete outage. I mean, that would just be absurd. I would have no clue what to do with myself.
WWE Network tonight skipped on me a couple times, and I was freaking out. I'm like, oh my God, can I not fit it? Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
I know a lot of people that always, like on social media, are talking about how they're having issues with the network. And I have had the network since day one, and I have never had any issues from skipping, from, you know, like
I've had
being
a couple
staticky
hiccups.
ever. That's really weird.
Yeah, I've had a couple hiccups. Max, have you ever had any hiccups with the network?
Oh yeah, I mean, even tonight we got kicked off. We were on a little bit of a delay behind the other people in our watch party. And when they first debuted the network, you expect there to be bugs, and it was bugged when they first debuted, pretty bad.
Yeah.
But for the most part, they've got it cleared up. Occasionally, we get kicked off, but we get right back on, and it might actually be our network. We're never 100% sure.
Yeah.
Well, I think Ringside News, and don't, you know, quote me if I'm wrong, Steve, but I think Ringside News reported that WWE Network on night one of WrestleMania was out for a lot of people, so they couldn't really watch it live.
Yeah. There was probably 10 people on social media that made a post saying they were having a complete, you know, a failure.
True.
So somebody, of course, had a report on this to make it seem like just like any time with WWE, you know.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Nobody watched WrestleMania live this year, considering it was recorded last weekend.
Yeah, good point.
That is true.
Maxwell.
That is true, Maximus.
Let's talk silver lining, okay?
Oh,
yes,
silver lining.
they could not have fans in the arena this time, but they still set an attendance record.
What was that attendance record?
Zero.
Zero.
WrestleMania has never hosted a show with zero in attendance. They set that record this year for the first time in 36 WrestleManias.
Wasn't it just
what about
weird?
Gronk? Do we count Gronk though?
Well, true. I mean, you got to.
Gronk is the new 24/7 champion.
Well, that's
he
true,
is signed as a superstar. He does not count as a fan in attendance. In fact, there was only one fan in attendance at WrestleMania this year, and it was the one above the ring.
Yeah. And by the way, shout outs to Gronk for taking that bump, man. I didn't think he could do that. I mean, he had people to catch him, but still, man, that bump was pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, that he's been on record many times saying he's a long, you know, big fan of wrestling, and I think he's diving into it with, you know, he's pretty excited about it. Just kind of like a couple other guys that I've seen on social media, like Kane was talking about, you know, how much he loved it and whatnot.
Right. I'm gonna share something because Max.
Oh, jeez.
the one fan in attendance at WrestleMania 36 that Max is talking about is that right there.
That's a big ass fan.
A big ass fan.
Bruh.
That's a big ass fan. Yes, it is.
It's an ass fan.
Damn. He's an ass fan. God, I miss Billy Gunn. Hey, shout out to Billy Gunn, man, because it's cool that he's on AEW, and I've been watching the product more and more. I've actually set it to record on my cable. It's cool to see that. I'm really enjoying AEW. I really am. And
I'm glad you brought AEW up because Baron said he heard Gronk and Mojo. Unfortunately, none of us over here did. I'm not saying it didn't happen, Baron. We've been around together long enough that I trust you. If you say it happened, it did. We didn't hear it. To me, that's the biggest difference between the two companies, though, is you hear nothing but what's going on in the ring and commentary at WWE. And at AEW, they actually have their workers around the ringside, and they're making noise. They're giving that energy to their workers, and I think that's what AEW is doing better than WWE right now.
They are, because I know that the wrestlers in AEW, you watch an episode of Dynamite, and the wrestlers in the ring are just feeding off of that, man. It's hard to go into a ring and feed off of something that's not there, you know. And
you also got to remember, WWE has been around. Vince McMahon has ran this company for how many years? I really couldn't tell you. I mean, years upon years. So it's really hard for them to kind of, I shouldn't say think out of the box, but like this has never, ever happened in wrestling history. So they're really one-sided on, certain things. They can't think like that. And I think Tony Khan did, he's a little younger and he's a little more able to, what am I trying to say here? Like, gravitate to newer things. You know what I'm saying? Like, Vince is just kind of stuck in that one dimension, to me at least.
I think the thing about Tony Khan that we need to keep in mind is that he knows to listen to the boys.
Yeah, right.
Vince will listen to them, but it'll go in one ear and out the other.
Yeah.
I can't say that he never listens and never goes with their suggestions, because if he didn't, we wouldn't have NXT, because Triple H said, hey, this is what we should be doing. And he said, okay, let's do it. But Tony Khan actually lets Cody tell him what's necessary. I guarantee
Cody knows.
Cody's been around. His dad was one of the greatest of all time.
Definitely.
But it's not just Cody. I guarantee you the rest of that locker room is also going, hey, you know what WWE's problem is right now? They got no mojo coming from the crowd, even though they have a guy named Mojo standing in their crowd. So
it's true.
What's different is that he listens and actually enacts what they suggest. If it's totally stupid, Cody will tell him it's totally stupid. But this was something they were like, you know what? We got to do this. Otherwise, we got zero energy out there.
Yeah. And it's cool to see that AEW is doing that with their product. And I love that Cody is pushing the limits with their product. And I'm thinking that Vince is kind of seeing that too, because I noticed several times tonight, people called each other son of a bitch. They said we're pissed. I even heard the word shit tonight. And that coming from the mind of Vince McMahon, you never heard that. You never heard that at all on this PG era product.
Yeah, it
came from the puppet. Let's be fair.
Yeah.
I mean, they came from the puppet, but the puppet was Vince, so I kind of, I think of it. But it had to be cleared by Vince, though. That's what I'm getting at. Everything that goes on TV has got to be cleared by Vince.
Yeah. And it's been going around a lot longer, though, just not WrestleMania. I mean, every Raw or SmackDown, someone's throwing out those words. I'm sure they're paying attention to AEW. You always do when you have a competitor,
Well, you have to. That's the smart thing to do.
I don't think they're in any, to me, I don't think there's any worry, because AEW is doing decent. Obviously they're beating out NXT viewerships every week, but I mean, they're not even remotely close to even, viewership wise being on that WWE level. And I think the great thing about this is AEW focuses on, they have good storylines, good matches. WWE focuses on that entertainment aspect. So we're kind of almost in like two different spectrums of wrestling. So it's hard to kind of compare like a Raw or SmackDown to AEW, at least in my eyes. I don't know. But I think he's starting to listen to some of the other wrestlers' opinions a little bit more, and we can definitely see that at WrestleMania, because Who would have thought that Vince McMahon 10, 20 years ago would have done a boneyard match like that?
Ooh.
Or even a Firefly or, Funhouse match like that. I mean,
on the flip side, we've seen Vince do something similar before, because we actually had who was it? Bray Wyatt versus. It was the Wyatt family compound, and it was Wyatt versus. Was it Orton that went out to the compound?
Yeah,
it was somebody.
Orton.
Yeah, it was Orton. Yeah.
I mean, but the production level was nothing compared to the things we saw in the past 2 days. So it wasn't, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just didn't hit for me when they were doing that, like, compared to the Boneyard. Like, they invested time to make that one match. Like, it was perfect.
Kevin, I hope to God Kevin Dunn didn't have anything to do with it.
Well, I'm sure he had something to do with it.
I'm
sure old Kevin Dunn had something to do with it. I think Triple H took the reins on the Boneyard match from what I was reading some articles. Least had a big say in it.
Well, and Trips knows. Trips knows what he's doing. He's been in the business for God knows how long, and he actually cares about the product. So that's one of the good things about Triple H is that, even with the demotion that he took from the WWE, he still cares about the product. That's never going to go away. So shout outs to Trips for actually giving a shit about the product, and I think he too is listening to the fans as well. And I think he's keeping up with what all Elite Wrestling is doing as far as, how are they keeping their fans entertained? What does their product look like? What do their promo packages look like? And that's the mindset that I would go into it, knowing that, okay, well, there's another promotion out there that could be a pretty decent challenge for WWE. But the thing is, now with this whole coronavirus quarantine thing, viewership is starting to drop. We're starting to see viewership starting to drop on both SmackDown, Raw, AEW, NXT. Why is that? Does anybody have any explanation on why that is?
Well, I mean, there's so much going on in the world. I mean, people could be keeping up with the news or whatever the case may be. Yeah. Wrestling, maybe a lot of the old school wrestling fans are not digging the whole empty arena thing either. I mean, fans play a large part in wrestling, if not the largest. Just being there, they get the wrestlers' adrenaline just pumping. Maybe that has something to do with it. But I mean, I still think the numbers are consistent. I think they just dropped a little bit. I know Raw was had the lowest they've had in a long time.
Right.
AEW is pretty consistent, falling in that 800,000 to 600,000 range. And NXT has never changed. They're like 600,000 viewers every week. So we're close to,
Close to it, yeah.
So I think they're still kind of consistent. Raw and SmackDown just not clicking with people because there's just not much going, not much going on.
Has it though? I mean, has it for a long time? Has it not clicked with a lot of people? Has it been the same thing, every week?
I don't know. I think everybody's opinion on something changes. I used to love Survivor, and now I hate Survivor. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think everybody's opinion on something kind of runs dry. And I think, I don't think it's really the wrestling because, in my eyes, wrestling today is better than it was. I'm talking wrestling, not entertainment aspect. Wrestling.
Sure.
Than it was in the 90s. In-ring performance. And that's what I enjoy watching. So I enjoy it. And I get everybody's opinion on it. There's some times that it's rough to watch.
It is rough. Yeah, very much so. Max, you've been in this business for quite some time. And this question is not only for you, but it's for Baron too. With the whole empty arena thing and performing and still putting on shows and still trying to entertain folks, Max, how long do you think that each promotion can keep going like this? Do you think that they're going to be able to keep going? So
here's the problem. WWE was already losing money prior to the empty arena situation.
Right.
Not certain as to exactly what caused it. But the empty arenas is not helping. AEW is still trying to get on their feet, and Impact has been struggling for years. That's your big three. Let's not even. Let's
Impact
not even
is
throw.
still on the air.
Yep.
Where are they at? Are they still on Pop or what?
No, they're not on Pop. I don't remember what they're on now.
Wow,
But so
that's news to me.
So those are your big three. Let's not even talk about your Ring of Honors, your New Japans, and all those. If you're talking about already losing money and then you take out your biggest revenue piece of the revenue, you have a very limited time to fix the problem and rectify it.
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't know if Impact will survive because I'm sorry. Much love to those people that love Impact. While I support the workers, I don't support management. I disagree with their booking staff.
Who's running Impact now?
The last I knew, it was Smashing Pumpkins dude.
Billy Corgan.
Was it Billy Corgan? Wow.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, he's got a large portion. I don't know what you mean by like. I'm not sure who's really
I know
running things behind the scenes,
that
though, but I know he's got a large part in it.
Yeah, Impact was Billy's. I think wasn't it Billy's idea or dream or child or something like that, or whatever the hell you want to call it? Wasn't that Billy's?
And Billy always wanted to get into the wrestling world, and a thing opened up, and he jumped into to do this.
Well, he's the majority owner of NWA. That's and they launched their thing, and he's also Impact's got ties with NWA, I believe so. So that's
right.
Kind of where that all kind of intertwined.
Okay.
But some guy I don't even know is the CEO of that company. I couldn't even tell you who it is.
Leonard Asper. Oh, it looks like Billy Corgan is no longer part of it either.
Wow.
Scott D'Amore is currently the executive vice president. Shelley West is senior vice president. Dixie is an advisor for Anthem.
Yeah.
Who the hell is Don Callis? Canadian professional wrestler, color commentator, and executive, as well as former professional wrestler and manager. Okay.
Wow. Yeah, he was Cyrus. You remember Cyrus from?
Oh shit, no.
From like the '90s.
Yeah.
Like the manager. Yeah.
Well, fuck. That's all.
I mean,
it's all
since you're on the
news to me.
topic of Impact, I think Impact is actually like the one company that has been consistent over the past year. You talk to any of the diehard Impact fans or just casual fans, a lot of people have actually gravitated towards Impact. Impact is like, I think 3 or 4 months ahead in tapings, so they're still actually. They're every time they go live, or not really live, but they had people in the crowd. So, people can actually gravitate towards that if they want to feel the energy from the fans, because they're actually still in the crowd because they're old tapings. So that's another benefit that could help them in my eyes. First off, WWE is $1 billion industry. If any company is not going to be hurt by this, by taking maybe a month off, 2 months off, it would be WWE. If AEW did that, where they're not really, stabilized, like they don't really have they've only been on air for a year, so they don't really have a large staple. They haven't really built themselves up at all to where they could be. So companies like that could really hurt if they were to, say, go off the air for a month or two.
Yeah.
WWE's got billions upon billions of dollars, and they are losing money, but a lot of money they lost was because a couple investors left, I believe, and they were part of the board and they left. So they took a lot of chunk out of the stock exchange. So that's kind of what happened there. So they lost a ridiculous amount, but it was Nothing to Vince McMahon.
I personally think the day that WWE died is when they became a public company and they were on the Wall Street. That's when I think honestly that's when I think it died. But I really do. But it's tough anywhere, dude. It's tough to survive in these times of this COVID-19 and this pandemic that we're in. I'm sure that wrestlers who are indie wrestlers anyway, they're not wrestling right now. They have to go out and get 9-to-5s, so that to me is considered a bit of an off season. Baron and I, Max, talked about an off season possibly for professional wrestling. What do you think about that?
I've actually stated before that if it would reduce the risk of injuries, I would support it. However, I don't think that's why it's going to happen. It looks like there is a possibility that at the very least WWE is going to take an off season. Mm-hmm. I know they showed the advertisement for Money in the Bank. Mm-hmm. I would not be surprised if we see that either canceled or rescheduled, or that be the last pay-per-view for a couple of months. The original rumor that we heard was that tomorrow night.
Well, I was just going to say they haven't given a location yet, so for Money in the Bank. Right. So
most likely right now they're planning Performance Center, and that's why. But there is the possibility. We were hearing rumors that tomorrow night would be the final Raw for a little while until they can start touring again. As of right now, since they advertised for Money in the Bank and gave us a date, I would say that they're going to try and hold out for another month before they do it.
Yeah, that makes sense. But there's also been a rumor going around that the police broke up a taping of AEW and told them they had to vacate because they're in Florida, so they had to vacate the premises due to their stay-at-home order. I think they're in the stay-at-home order, aren't they?
Yeah, should be.
Yeah. So, AEW, if AEW can get broken up by the police, what's stopping the WWE from not getting broken up by the police?
Fat ass pockets.
Well, true.
The name Vince McMahon.
Fat. Fat.
The name Vince.
Yeah. I don't. Haven't they? I thought
Tampa Bay kept saying
pre-tapes for WWE. I thought they've been pre-taping this whole time.
They are talking about airing pay-per-views and stuff. They're talking about airing pay-per-views and stuff until this old pay-per-views.
Oh, is that what it? Okay.
Real quick though, I don't know what AEW's numbers look like, but just for this weekend alone, WrestleMania 36 weekend, WWE is looking at losing approximately $22 million. The WrestleMania 36 gate itself was estimated to be around $15 million. The 4 adjacent shows at the Amalie Arena, the Hall of Fame, TakeOver Tampa Bay, Raw, and SmackDown, were looking to have generated another $4 million and then $3 million for live merchandise sales.
Wow.
And that's just this weekend. $22 million is what they lost.
Was that from not having people in attendance? Is that where they're losing that money from?
That's from not doing the show in Tampa like they had planned.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
Including the other 4 shows, the Hall of Fame, Raw, SmackDown, and TakeOver.
I would assume they made probably quite a bit of money just off of subscribers this weekend for WrestleMania.
And they're rolling out pay-per-view, like traditional pay-per-views too. So they're teamed up with Fight TV. They teamed up with Fox Sports.
And I heard they did really well on viewership-wise on ESPN. They've been doing the, taping or showing the previous WrestleManias leading up to this WrestleMania. And I heard they did really good ratings. I didn't really
Here's
see
my
the
concern.
numbers.
Here's my concern. My concern is that if things go well enough with ESPN and Fight TV, we may have to have a delay on the network to watch them. And I don't mean like a 30-minute delay. I'm talking like maybe a week before WrestleMania hits the network or before SummerSlam hits the network.
And that's crazy to think because that is, I mean, the network should be their bread and butter. You know, the network should be their bread and butter, and then the other network should have a delay. But you should be able to watch it on either pay-per-view. You should be able to watch it on Fight TV, the network, or traditional, or what is it, Fox Sports. You know, before it even hits anything else, that should be the delay. They should keep that at least the minimum. They should keep it on is the network. Because that's where they're getting their viewerships from. Because every time they do a pay-per-view, they're throwing out free week of the
free
network.
month.
Free month of the network, yeah.
Yeah, when you subscribe to the network, you get the first month free, including the pay-per-view that month. So so if you signed up on Friday, you're going to get WrestleMania 36.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I don't know how that works because I know every single time that I have signed up for the 1 month free thing and I, put it in. I mean, I've always had it, but every time, especially now that I had to put my new card in because I had my old card. So I had to put a new card in. So I had to redo it because my subscription ended. It still took the $9.99 out. $9.99. So like, I don't know how that's really free because you're still taking it out. Yes. $9.99.
You know how long I've waited to hear that?
It took a second for that to click in my head.
Oh my God, that's great. That's awesome.
Oh, that's hilarious. Good times.
But I mean, it's scary times for really anybody.
Listen,
I just don't know how long this is going to keep up. I really don't. Without the cops coming in and breaking stuff up. Go ahead.
There's a lot of naysayers out there saying that this is a conspiracy, that this was made in a lab, that it was made in a lab owned by George Soros. Here's the fact, okay? This is serious. This was not made in a lab. This is a legit thing, and it is threatening us. This is not being overhyped by the media. This is not being overhyped by the government. Nobody is trying to disrupt the elections with this. This is something legit. Take it seriously. Stay home if you can.
Right.
Social distance if you can't. Wear your mask. Don't worry about the gloves because you're going to screw up using the gloves anyway. I've watched enough of you out there trying to use gloves. You're cross-contaminating everywhere. Screw the gloves. Just wash your hands. It's better that way. But if you help flatten the curve, we can go back to normal sooner rather than later. As of right now, my vacation is looking to be off next month. I'm looking at not being able to do anything for my birthday in July. I got a buddy whose birthday is in 2 days, and he can't do anything for his birthday because of this. A guy I went to high school with just passed away last night from complications of coronavirus. So for all you idiots that are out there going, there's nothing really going on, or we're going to go ahead and gather anyway, screw you. Stop putting lives at risk. Take your ass home and stay there.
I was
Preach.
Hey, you know what? Preach it, buddy. Preach it. Well, I was going to give you applause. There we go. There you go. There's a little applause. You're very welcome. That was well deserved. I'm proud of you. Those are pretty big words for you, Max. So that was I know that was hard. But just as Max said, I was watching the news one night, and this is when they were bringing the ships into New York to for the hospitals and stuff like that, so that people could get better, so that they could actually care for people, since the hospitals in New York were full, and there were people standing. They sure as hell didn't look 6 foot apart, but they were just standing there, a group of them just watching the ship pull in. Bro, watch it on TV. We're in a freaking pandemic. Stop gathering. Stop gathering with people. Stop going to try and hang out with your friends. Do it like what we're doing. Do it on Skype. Do it on something other than actually going to see them face to face. You're not helping the situation. This is not a vacation, folks. This is not a vacation. This is
So-
time to actually get serious.
So we've had Barr on the show before. He's a good buddy of mine.
Very good friend of the show.
Another, huh?
Very good friend of the show.
Yeah. Another friend of mine who's a mutual friend with Barr. That guy lives out in Utah. Barr lives in Ohio.
Right.
My friend from Utah was telling me that Utah is not testing anybody because they don't want to add numbers.
Mm-hmm.
They actually had a thing at an airport where they let everybody just reunion. And it was like, oh, hey, welcome back, guys, from your mission trip to the Philippines. Let's all hug and cluster in a group. Ohio was not testing unless you had a temperature of 100 something or higher. No matter whether you were fully showing all the other symptoms. Listen, you need to do the tests. Okay,
Yeah.
I get that we're running low on tests. That we apparently don't have enough of them. Do the tests. Everybody in the U.S. needs to be tested. Everybody around the world needs to be tested. We don't want to end up being Italy, where everyone is legitimately locked in their house by law, and we don't want to have a death toll like Italy's.
Well, I think that's exactly what needs to, well, not the death toll, but exactly what needs to happen is to go on a lockdown like Italy. I mean, we've surpassed their numbers.
Yep.
We have the most cases in the world. So, I mean, I think that's almost what has to happen. All these businesses coming up with, well, we're essential because we make the screws that go inside a cooler that goes inside a fast food restaurant. You know what I'm saying? Like, all these people are finding excuses and ways to make their business essential when actuality they're not essential. Essential workers should be anybody in the healthcare, retail or stuff like that. So
Sure.
I think that's almost what has to happen if we want to, get rid of everything.
As far as total cases, you're right. We have surpassed everybody. In fact, we have 200,000 more cases than the second place nation. Spain is the second place nation currently. They have 131,000 cases. We have 336,000 cases. Italy is just behind that with 128,000. Germany, 100,000. France, 92,000. China has dropped all the way back to 6th. As far as the death toll, we have not topped 10K here yet. We're not far off. Spain has had 12,641 deaths from this. Italy has had 15,887. We are at 9,618. Total deaths worldwide are currently 69,458. So I will say it again. Stay home.
Yeah, that's the most important thing that we can do right now is to help prevent the spread of this going even further. Now we're restricted from going inside the stores. There's only supposed to be 10 people at a time inside of Walmart or Target or Kroger or whatever you have near you. So we're getting down to that, and they're begging people don't go out and venture out. Don't go out and see what if anything's changed or anything. To stay home. And if you have to go to the store and get your things, get your toilet paper, get everything. Because I guarantee you, I'm pretty sure toilet paper is going to be restocked soon. They're going to be too damn full of it. And we're going to all sing hallelujah because we have toilet paper.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm glad you mentioned this grocery shopping thing. On behalf of retail workers everywhere, you're not going to the store to browse, take your time and pick things out. Get in, get your essential supplies, and go home.
Yeah. So let's put it into perspective as far as numbers go, and this is from the CDC. Total cases in the United States at a glance over 300,000. Total deaths over 7,000. Jurisdictions reporting cases out of 55 jurisdictions in 50 states, and that includes all of these right here. So this is not a joke, folks. we're in I think YouTube, as a YouTuber, we were talking about it as a YouTuber, they want people who have a YouTube channel like us. They want us to encourage folks to stay home. And I'm happy that we're talking about this because this has to be talked about. This legit has got to be talked about, Stay the freak at home. Yes. Stay the freak at home. So
I censored it, all right?
there you go. I mean, you don't need to censor it for me. Everybody knows this is a mature show. So, yeah. I need to start watching my mouth, though. Yeah, that's true. But, I need to start watching my mouth. But how weird was WrestleMania watching it without anybody there? Matter of fact, my wife came in from going, I think she went down to her parents' house, and she came in and she said it sounded like people were it sounded like a fucking porn, like a really sadistic, sick porn. How weird was it?
I mean, Natty did spank Mandy Rose's ass tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was hot.
yeah.
It was nice. I like that, I really thought that there was going to be like a wardrobe malfunction between Charlotte Flair and Rhea.
Rhea was pretty damn close.
Rhea was really close. Yeah. I don't know if anybody else caught that, but damn, she was super close, and Charlotte was about to as well.
Well,
Charlotte's had it a few times.
Unfortunately, it wasn't a live show. If it was a live show, possibly that could happen. But it's been taped, so we're not going to get all of that.
So let me ask you this: was night 1 live and night 2 taped?
No, the whole thing was taped.
Yeah.
So why did I see live on the network on night 1?
It's going. I mean, because it's live, going on live now on the network, showing that it's live, but it's not saying that it's live. But it was all pre-taped.
Yeah. Okay. So night 1
I think
and
the
night
last
2 were pre-taped.
5 or 6 shows they've had were pre-taped. I think SmackDown was pre-taped. Monday Night Raw was pre-taped.
I thought I read an article that Vince had enough material that was pre-taped for at least a week or so.
Yeah, that they did all the taping in the Performance Center. I think wrestlers have not been out in the last 2 weeks. They've been home on social media. You follow them on social media. They're talking every day about being home. So they're not out and about right now.
Right.
So that's a good thing.
And let's also, we also should mention that Roman Reigns was not on the show, and that is because he stayed at home due to this coronavirus. Apparently Vince is not even talking about Roman Reigns right now. And I've heard like floods of reports coming in saying that people are pissed off at Roman Reigns. Like WWE is actually pissed off at Roman Reigns for not being.
No, they confirmed that was a false statement.
Totally false.
It's not true.
Okay,
Triple H actually went on record himself and said that they are not holding any of these requests against the wrestlers that are making them. They understand that right now is a difficult time, and if the wrestler feels they need to stay home to protect themselves, they are not only approving it, they are supporting it and encouraging it 100%. Awesome. Miz got sick. He stayed home. Andrade is injured, so he stayed home. Dana requested to be allowed to stay home, and so did Roman.
Yeah. Corey Graves. I mean, he obviously was on the little pre-show thing, but he was...
Corey Graves and his Peter.
Yeah. Yeah. Carmella. I think there's quite a few people, actually, that you just don't think of, Roman Reigns obviously being the big name and whatnot, but someone that just came off of having cancer.
Exactly.
Needs to.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was getting ready to say. Is somebody as vulnerable as Roman Reigns, he needs to stay home. So I'm glad
that's good on him, and then
very much so. I'm glad WWE is supporting that, and I know that AEW people are supporting. AEW is supporting their wrestlers, saying, "Hey, I need to stay home too," and that's cool. I know that there's a lot of employers out there that are still kind of questioning. Hey, if I have an employee sick, do I need to? What do I need to do? Keep them home or come into work? Stay the fuck at home.
I will tell you right now, despite the fact that we are considered essential, the standing rule at my job is, if you feel sick, contact your supervisor immediately, let them know, and then the two of you will work out a plan that includes HR, being brought into the conversation so that you are still going to get covered, but you will be able to stay at home and not risk getting anybody else sick.
Sure. Yeah. What are some of the? Go ahead.
Harbor Freight, from what I understand,
Yeah.
has taken it a step further. We are going to have to start wearing masks as soon as they arrive. They're on a run. They were stuck on a runway Friday. But masks. They ordered us the face guards, those little plastic things that go across here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Harbor Freight is requiring kind of the same thing. A friend of mine still works there, but they are also taking their temperatures when they come in for their shift. It is a mandatory thing to decide whether they're going to be allowed to work that day or not. They have to wear the mask, which my friend found out she's allergic to. She found that out the hard way.
Oh my!
So a lot of places are instituting some stricter policies for their employees so that they can protect them.
That's good.
Now,
Yep.
I feel like the face mask, I already told the boss, you get me the face mask, I will wear that thing all day. You don't worry about that. I feel that is a necessity. I do not feel that face guard, the plastic thing that goes over, that you basically wear it like this, and it's a plastic guard that covers down like this.
Right.
It's like a welder's mask. I don't feel it's necessary for what I do, especially if I'm keeping that 6 foot of distance like they're telling me to. Unfortunately, the boss said that it looks like we're all going to be wearing that soon.
And you have to do something to keep yourself safe, man. And as much as it sucks,
I just would want to wear one so I could be like Shawn Michaels. Remember Sergeant Slaughter coming in that ring and just spitting all over? I got a few coworkers. That might be a good thing. Yeah,
that'd be great. Yeah, with a little windshield
I'd love to
wipers
wear it.
on. Yeah.
Unfortunately,
awesome.
like where I work is just so damn hot. So the less stuff that you have on you, you're better off.
Yeah.
So I haven't heard anything about work. Supposedly we go back April 10th, but I haven't heard anything. What are we going to do? What's the precautions to go back to work April 10th? Nobody has notified us to say, hey, we're going to start doing everybody's temperature. It is what it is. I can go into a long, heated rant on that one.
Yeah.
So some companies are not, caring about their employees in any way, shape, or form. And there's a lot of them out there.
I know the state of Illinois is because we were one of the first to issue a stay-at-home order pretty early in the game, as far as when the coronavirus started rolling out. I know that our governor issued one pretty damn quick because he figured it out that hey man, this is not good. So I think businesses in Illinois are telling people, hey, if you have the ability to work from home, work from home. If you are having any of the symptoms or anything going on, please contact a doctor and stay home until you're better. This is not.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
Exactly.
That's not all states.
That's not all states, but I think we're getting into that, and I'm fearing the worst. I really am. Yeah. If you don't know what, Baron was talking about with the face mask, that's exactly what he was talking about right there.
Now, hold on. If they don't know what Baron was talking about when he talked about the face mask, they've clearly been living under a rock all this time.
Yeah, because that was a huge moment in wrestling.
Yeah.
I remember. That was hilarious. So that's exactly what Max is wearing at work, folks. That's what he's going to have.
Right.
And he's going to feel just like Shawn Michaels when his boss comes up there and spits a little bit.
Oh, no. My boss is such a germaphobe that he is very strict about the 6 foot rule. If he needs to do something at my desk, he makes me walk away so that I'm 6 feet away from it while he's doing whatever he needs to do.
Good.
So, I mean, this is going to, after everything is said and done, it's going to be a weird time in America, especially in 2020, going into 2021. It's going to be weird as far as how people are going to start seriously taking their health. Are people going to continue to keeping their 6 foot distance from people? Are they going to stop shaking hands? Are they going to stop hugging? Are they going to stop kissing? Are they going to stop coming into contact with each other?
Honestly, for one thing, I think we're on the verge of the Ready Player One thing, where everybody stays in their own little trailer and they interact in a digital world. Um, I'm gonna be honest. The one thing I miss the most is being able to go to coffee once in a while. I love to go sit at IHOP with a cup of coffee and some friends and just bullshit for 4 or 5 hours.
I know my wife's uncle gets up at the ass crack of dawn. I don't know why this guy gets up at 2 a.m, but he gets up at 2 a.m, and he'll head out to the coffee shop here in town, and he and a bunch of farmers sit around and they just shoot shit and drink coffee, and he can't do that anymore.
Oh no, the town gossip is not getting around. It ain't good.
The network is starting to break apart. It sucks. But it's just very questionable times, and right now anyway. But the most important thing is stay home, wash your hands for 20 seconds. Every time you do something, just wash your hands for 20 seconds. There you go.
Man, I can't get to his fucking sign over there. I don't know which way to go. My phone's a flippant image here. But yeah, throw that sign up there, Max, to let them know.
Yeah.
Stay the fuck home.
Yes. That is the best place you can be. Everybody can be.
Listen, I understand that some of you are essential personnel. Do not get me wrong. I get that. I thank you for doing what you need to do. I'm considered essential as well. For the rest of you, stay your ass at home. Okay? All you're doing is putting the rest of us at risk. Stay home. Now, while I'm on the subject of you people putting everybody else at risk, I want to discuss something that has been a topic of conversation on Facebook the last 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
You being told to not go to church is not a violation of your First Amendment right. Number one, you are not having your right to be a Christian and worship infringed upon. The only thing that you might get a little leeway with me on is that your right to peacefully assemble. But even then, let me tell you what, the minute you put lives at risk, you are no longer peacefully assembling. Stay your ass at home, pull up a streaming church and worship that way until this whole thing is over. You're making things worse.
Yeah. I agree. And I saw that on somebody on Facebook shared a video that CNN did. And they talked to a lady in a van who was going to church. And she said, yeah, I'm still going to church. I'm fine. I'm protected by Jesus and everything's fine. So, and I get that you're religious and your beliefs and you want to go to church, but legit, you can worship God anywhere you want to. It doesn't have to be at a church, especially now. Stay home. Watch it online.
I may not agree with your beliefs, but I support your right to worship. I'd like to tell you worship as you see fit, but I can't do that right now because worshiping as you see fit puts people at risk. My sister and I butt heads all the time on anything politics and religion. She is staying home and streaming the church service from their church. Mm-hmm. We are in 100% agreement on this. If my sister can do it, the rest of you can.
And, even if your church does not have the ability to stream, encourage your pastor to go on Facebook Live or on YouTube or just record something on YouTube.
Or find a new church.
There you go. Yeah.
Whatever it takes so you stay your ass at home.
Stay your ass at home. That's what Max said.
Stay
your ass at home. So let's rate WrestleMania 36. It was a weird one. And we used to do this on Ramblin' all the time after a pay-per-view. I'd like to continue with that tradition, especially since, we're talking about the fallout of WrestleMania 36. So let's rate both nights of WrestleMania 36 very quick, and then we'll end it. Baron, I'm going to start with you, man.
I give it are we doing a 1 through 5? Are we doing?
You can do 1 through.
Are we giving stars? Are we giving?
You know what? We'll do it. We'll do 5 Ramblers. Give it 5 Ramblers. 1 out of 5 Ramblers. Do that.
I would give with everything that is happening in the world and everybody needing a source of entertainment and WWE stepping up to be that source of entertainment, kudos to them and everybody production wrestler that went in there and did their thing this weekend, because they did.
They did.
So kudos to them. I would give this a 4 Rambler out of 5 because there was actually some damn good matches in this. So yeah, 4 Rambler out of 5.
There were some pretty good matches. I particularly enjoyed the Boneyard match. I really thought that after watching both nights of WrestleMania, I really think that they're starting to kind of push the limit, and they're starting to get a little edgier. And I saw the attitude sign up on top of the Performance Gym tonight during the Orton and Edge match, which was a wonderful sight to see. So, I think 2 out of 5 or 1 out of 5 Ramblers. I'm going to give it maybe a solid 3. Because I'm still not into the product. I still am kind of bored. It's still kind of predictable. But it was all right, minus the crowd. It was okay. So
real quick before Max gives you his professional opinion.
Go ahead.
To me, looking on social media and so many people, and we talked about it, like, okay, man, this is just weird. I don't like it. There's no crowd. The 2 best matches of the entire 2 days were matches developed not around a crowd. Yeah, I mean, you just think about it for a second. The Boneyard match and the Bray and John Cena, they were developed to not have a crowd because this is how they were going to do things.
Right.
And even the Edge and Orton thing. So it's just kind of funny to me that, the 2 best matches of the entire night, to me, were matches that didn't need a crowd. Because that art form, what we love about wrestling, was able to shine.
And I love being able to hear the trash talk in the ring. And it's
boy, them slaps.
especially
There's some slaps in there that
boy.
I felt them at home on the couch.
Yeah. And I love listening to them just trash each other. It's great, and it's a bit of a breath of fresh air. Max, let's move on to you, brother.
Before I give my rating for the overall, I want to point something out. Okay. I have always said that my favorite matches are the ones where they tell the story in the ring without the need for the verbal exchange or any of that. Therefore, on this card, and it doesn't have to be in the ring per se, on this particular card, on both nights, the 2 best matches for me were Orton versus Edge and Rollins versus Owens, because those men told the story without the need for the conversation, without the need for the commentators to tell us the story. Those 2 matches for me saved what could have been bad. And here's why. The lack of energy on the card. The fact that you put Gronk over for a title, his first weekend officially with the company. The questionable booking on the women's title matches. And I'm not talking the SmackDown one. That actually made sense to me. The other 2 women's title matches were what didn't make sense to me. The tag match I was good with. So overall, I'm going to give this a 3.75, despite the fact that Owens, Rollins, Edge, and Orton really saved it for me. Those questionable booking decisions and the lack of energy really hurt me. So I'm going to go 3.75.
I totally forgot about the Rollins and Owens match. That was a good, solid match. Really was.
It was amazing. They told a story, and that's what's most important. My favorite match of all time, and I've said this before, is the brother versus brother match at WrestleMania 10, Brett versus Owen. Why? They went in that ring. They told the story in the ring with their bodies in the match. Yeah. You get matches like the Andrade, what was supposed to be Andrade, the Theory and Garza versus the Street Profits. I don't feel they told the story. I really don't. Was it a decent match? I still thought it was decent, but they didn't tell the story.
Yeah.
And that's where my problem comes in.
I didn't even watch that match. That was my get up and go to the bathroom and get something to drink match. Bubba would have called it a piss break match. So that was my piss break match.
Honestly, Liv and Natty felt like a training session. So if that had been somewhere on the card, I could have used that as a piss break match.
Yeah. I mean, that was what? That was it at the first match or was that the kickoff? I think
That was the
during
pre-show
kickoff.
match tonight.
Yeah, that was a pre-show. So
And then they opened the card with Charlotte versus Rhea, which made no sense to me. I'd have put that later in the show.
yeah, I'm not understanding. I don't really understand their the matches, you know, when the placement of the matches anyway. I don't understand that. So I don't know. But I think we all thought it was a pretty good WrestleMania 36. Definitely got our minds off of stuff, especially with what's going on in the world right now. So I think that it did its job.
Yeah, I think they did a hell of a job entertaining us, and that's what we're asking for right now, and that's why
Exactly.
We questioned about the last time we talked. Why are they doing this? And in actuality, I didn't like that they did this, but then I love that they did it because it gave us a source of entertainment for 2 days. So I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
And I appreciate every wrestler that went out there and did that, and production and all the other guys that went into it.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think, and like I just said, they did their job to entertain us, and it was awesome. So props to WWE. You actually kept my attention, and that's hard to do anymore with your product, but you kept my attention. So props to you. Salute.
I heard we were on the verge of having one more match at Mania this year.
Really? Which one?
Gargano versus Ciampa.
Ooh.
Apparently, they turned it down.
Wonder why.
They didn't need the grand stage for it. They just needed some place where they could duke it out to settle their issues.
Yeah. NXT was definitely missed this weekend. And anytime the big pay-per-views come out, like a Royal Rumble or something, that Saturday is always like the top notch of wrestling because NXT puts on a hell of a show.
Sure. So
I definitely missed the Saturday. I missed the Friday Hall of Fame, the Saturday NXT, and the Sunday.
This year it would have been a Thursday night Hall of Fame because of SmackDown being on Friday.
On Friday, yeah, that's true. I missed that, but then I also love that I didn't have to sit there for 6 hours to watch WrestleMania. Split it up in 3 hours both days. That if they keep doing that, and then for the next WrestleManias, I'd be 100% with that. I think that worked out really fucking good.
I wish they would just. I still wish they would shorten Raw, and not keep it 3 hours. And you watch AEW and they're 2 hours, and I think that's perfect timing. I think that is a perfect amount of time to get what you need to do in your product. Get all the storylines out of the way, get all the feuding out of the way, get the matches out of the way. You can do that in 2 hours. You don't need 3. And I've said that from the beginning when Raw started to do the 3 hour super show of Raw or SmackDown. It's stupid.
Yeah. Well, in the defense, though, it's like kind of, if you have 50 wrestlers, you can get 50 wrestlers in 2 hours. When you have hundreds upon hundreds of wrestlers to get, that's the crappy thing about WWE. They just oversaturated with talent right now. So they got, the longer the episodes, the more people can get in. So I see why they're doing that. But yeah, I totally agree with you.
I get it.
3 hours on a Monday. Woof.
So
3 hours on a Monday is a little too much.
Just to compare times real quick. Last year, WrestleMania 35, including the pre-show, was 7.5 hours.
Too damn long.
Yeah.
This year, the pre-show started at 4 my time.
Right.
And both nights we ended about 8:30, 9 o'clock my time. So you're talking, let's just go with 8:30. That's 4.5 hours each night. This year was 9 hours of wrestling. But without 2 nights of pre-show, you would have probably only had a 1 hour pre-show. So it would have only been like 8 hours if you had just done it all at once. So that's only 30 minutes worse.
Yeah.
it's still too much. You know, it's still way too much, especially for me, who's trying to get back into the product and baby stepping their way in and trying to watch WWE. I tell you, I tried to watch Raw one night and I just couldn't stomach it. I
Listen,
really just couldn't. I got bored.
To ease your way back in, start with NXT. Watch NXT and AEW. And then
Yeah.
eventually you'll want to know what they're doing on the main rosters again, and you'll go back to Raw and SmackDown. For now, take the baby steps. Start with NXT and AEW, specifically Orange Cassidy and Colt Cabana. Those are the two guys I recommend you watch. Now, a tweet went out. Oh, I wanted to tell you guys about this. I forgot.
Mhm.
Let me pull this up real quick because that's Skype, Twitter.
Yeah. And while you're pulling that up, let's just let's give some updates on the show. We're going to be doing some interviews here in the near future. I know that I've got one set up for Anthony DiStefano. Everybody knows who Ant is. So we'll be talking to him, finding out what he's doing, what he's up to. It may not necessarily be a live show, but it will be up on our YouTube page at youtube.com/Ramblers Unleashed. You can also follow us on all of the social medias that we have. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We are on Periscope. We're everywhere, man. Just look up Ramblers Unleashed and you'll find us right there. And if you have anything that maybe you want us to talk about, please email us at the show. We'd love to hear from you. And I'm going to put that email up here in just a minute. But we definitely would love to hear from you. And let us know how we're doing. If you have a topic for us that you want us to discuss, let us know. We'd love to hear from you. And here's that email right now.
Hit us up.
Hit us up. Do it.
You can follow me at Max Magus on Twitter if you like.
Yes.
Follow me at Baron Van Dam if you would like.
And you can follow us at the Ramblers Pod on Twitter if you like.
So 4 days ago, Rob Risen, Hail Risen, tweeted, okay, Matt Hardy brand, if I have to resort to asking like this, when will you give me back my essence? You stole it from me. You cannot avoid me forever. Hashtag Damascus. Hashtag AEW Dynamite.
Ooh.
Matt Hardy replied, it will not be returned, devil. I hold you and Abomination guilty for the loss of Zenith. As your breaker, you will come when I summon you, Ryzen.
So is Rising going to debut on AEW soon?
So the rumor I'm hearing is that he was supposed to, Hardy's current story was supposed to be a one match thing.
Mhm.
And then Ryzen was supposed to debut so that they could do something together. Thanks to coronavirus, fucking bastard. They've had to stretch out Hardy's current story and they're going to bring Ryzen in later.
Okay. By the way, this one is dedicated to coronavirus.
Fucking thing sucks.
Yes. Oh my. My wife walks around and if she coughs all the time or coughs or does anything, I'll look at her and say, is that you, Rona? Is that you?
Rona, get out of me.
Rona, get your ass out of here, Rona. Nobody wants you. Nobody want that.
Rona, unleash, go.
you evil person, go. Get out of here, Rona. Nobody wants you around here.
Hey, I stopped drinking Coors as well just to be safe.
There you go. There you go. It's piss water. That is some piss water right there. Before we wrap it up, I do want to say though, we go to a rodeo usually every year. I don't know about this year, but we go to a rodeo and all they serve is Coors because that's the main sponsor. I walked up to the bar one night and the lady asked me what I wanted, and I said, "Yeah, I want a Bud Light." She looked at me like if she had a neon sign that said dumbass and pointed at me. I said, I want a Bud Light. She said, we don't have Bud Light. Well, what do you have? Coors. I said, that's piss water. I don't want that shit.
I live in the home of Coors. I consider it Rocky Mountain piss water. Corona is Mexican piss water. And there's a story behind that, which we'll get to next time.
Next time. Yes, sir. All righty, fellas. We are out of time. And does anybody have anything else to say before we wrap this up?
Yes. Stay the fuck at home.
Yes. Stay the hell at home. Baron.
Stay the fuck at home.
There's a song out there too. You should go. Maybe we'll try to share it if I can find it again. But there's a song
Go
out
home.
there.
Go watch Tiger King.
Oh my God! Have you watched the freaking Tiger King? Oh my God!
I need to, and I will. I haven't yet.
Dude, what are you
Carol
waiting
killed
for?
her husband. I have other stuff I'm trying to catch up on first.
God, that show is just an absolute mind fuck. And apparently, there's a season 2 coming.
They have confirmed one new episode that's coming out this week. It's not a new season, just a update.
Oh, just a new episode. Oh,
yeah.
Well, my wife and I just finished that, and it was hard for her to watch that show because of the treatment of the animals and things like that. And she said, I'm just done with this show. And I said, we got to finish it, though. I've heard so many crazy things about this show. We just have to finish it. And if you have at home not watched the Tiger King yet, get Netflix. It's probably free for maybe a month or so. Subscribe and watch the freaking Tiger King. This show is nuts. And then come back and talk to us about it.
One last thing I think our viewers should see. It's in the messenger.
Absolutely. Stay the fuck at home because Samuel L. Jackson told you to.
For those that don't know, this is the sequel to Go the Fuck to Sleep.
Oh, it's great.
And I will say it as many times as I have to. Stay the fuck at home.
Stay the hell at home. And on that note, we have run out of time. Thank you so much for hanging out with us on Ramblers Unleashed. More stuff is to come. Make sure you subscribe and tell your friends. Peace. Stay home. Stay home, folks. Stay home.
Thanks for tuning
Stay
in
the fuck at
to
home.
Ramblers Unleashed. Follow us on Facebook at Ramblers Unleashed. And join us next time for another Ramblers Unleashed.
And stay the fuck home.